The following podcast contains spoilers and explicit language. Listener discretion is advised. Hello and welcome to Animated Anarchy, where we take a critical look at animated features of all kinds to determine whether they're good or bad. And hello again! We are back. I am Andrew Dickman, and I'm with my friend...
I'm with Mike Ruocco.
You are with Mike Ruocco because you are with yourself
with the clouds.
With the complete giggles, apparently.
Because I have the giggles from... We saw a very wonderful film today.
Yes.
Wonderful in the sense that it made me... I learned how to laugh again.
And you need to learn to laugh and love again.
I need to learn to laugh and love again in
this was
film.
Okay. Well, all right. Backstory. Last week we decided to do listener's choice, and many of you wrote in with a lot of your suggestions of what we should talk about, and a lot of movies. Like I'm just going to list down a couple bit: James and the Giant Peach, The Iron Giant, Cats Don't Dance, Robots. And they were all really great suggestions, but I think it came up to a decision by me that I really...
Yeah, I had no say in the matter whatsoever.
Yes, you have absolutely no say in this.
Yeah,
I have to pick...
I'm the second banana.
I really have to pick...
He's going to make all my choices
from the litter.
Because I don't know better.
Yes, and one popped up a couple times, actually. One time on Twitter and one an email to me. And this email is from Gemma Bright, and she writes, "Hi there, I'd like to pitch in a recommendation for your podcast, which has been really enjoyable to listen to so far." So thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah. It'd be great to hear your thoughts on the 2000 European animated movie, Help! I'm a Fish. Help, I'm a Fish. Which, despite the questionable name and even more questionable marketing it got at the time of release, was, at least in my opinion, a surprisingly entertaining watch. What might you guys think? And looking forward to your next discussion. Signed, Gemma. Well, Gemma, thanks to your email and the suggestions on Twitter, I decided to look this movie up.
Partially because it is a foreign movie, and neither of us have seen it.
Yes.
We've all seen all those other movies.
Yeah, and one thing that I really want to do about this podcast is to look at animated features that, while there are movies that we want to talk about that we have seen and have a lot of things to say about it, there are also a lot of animated movies that we haven't seen, and I'm sure the general public also hasn't seen as well. So it's really great to see a title that I haven't heard of, and then when I look it up, it starts getting really interesting. I mean, at first, when I looked this movie up and I saw Google Images, the first thing that came up was a movie with a different title.
A Fish's Tale.
A Fish Tale. And it looked like it was a knockoff of a Shark Tale.
It looked like one of those Chinese
It was
knockoff
a really, really
movies.
bad CG job on this cover. But aside from that, I saw another picture, which was a poster that looked like it was a traditionally animated movie, but with the title, and like the title "Help! I'm a Fish."
Yeah.
And so I started to look this up, and apparently they're the same movie. I guess it was marketed overseas as something else when it came to DVD, just to connect it to like a Shark Tale or something like that.
Because the movie did come out before Shark's Tale.
Yeah, it did. Well, this movie came out in 2000, and I've never heard of it. Which piqued my interest, of course, and when we looked it up, it's a Dutch film.
It was a co-production between Germany and Denmark.
Oh yeah.
It's meant multiple countries in Europe.
Yeah, I'm gonna read the Wikipedia article, which actually.
Yeah. And while you look that up, I heard about the movie because I have corresponded with one or two people who worked at one of the studios that worked on that movie. Mm-hmm. And apparently it was an all right, fun production to work on. From what I've heard. I don't know. I've only heard two opinions of it. But
yeah, well, a lot of productions are connected to this. Okay, Help! I'm a Fish. Danish. Oh, God, I can't read that title.
Oh, yeah, and this is interesting. This is a great...
Help! Jager and Fisk, a.k.a. A Fish Tale, is a 2000 Danish-German-Irish traditionally animated musical adventure fantasy comedy drama family film directed by Stephen Fjeldmark, I hope I said that right, Greg Manwaring, and Michael Hegner. Produced by Anders Mastrup, written by Stephen Fieldmark.
We are going to butcher these names.
Yeah, these are. I can't keep going on.
Yeah.
This is like there's so much information just in this one paragraph.
All we have to say is that there was some talented European,
very talented European individuals
who helped make this movie.
Yeah.
And can you just read again what kind of movie it was again? Just that one sentence.
Okay. A 2000 Danish-German-Irish traditionally animated musical adventure fantasy comedy drama family film.
A mouthful.
And it certainly is quite a bit of that.
It's a little bit of everything.
Yes, it's a little bit country and a little bit rock and roll.
I wasn't going to make that reference at all. But now that you did.
Yes. Yeah. So I actually got this movie on DVD, which was not really that hard to find, but it hasn't arrived yet. So I decided we're
basing all of our judgments just on the cover. Yeah. There are 3 fish.
No, I found a video that we watched together before we recorded, and this was our first time watching this. And I can honestly say that on first glance, when we were introduced to this movie, of course, what did we make commentary on? What was the first thing that we actually...
The logo.
Yeah, the logo.
The wonderful...
not so much the logo, but the title. The title of the movie
is Help, I'm a Fish.
And it is like... It looks like a fish. Even the eye is like...
The dot in the exclamation point makes the eye of the fish.
And there was a lot of thought into this title.
And I'm like, wow, some really creative people worked on this movie.
Yeah.
And I thought it was... And I'm not even being sarcastic. I thought it was pretty cool looking.
No, okay. We'll get into this, but let's go by the cast for a little bit. Yes. In the beginning of the movie, the first name that really sparked our interest is that Alan Rickman's in this.
Yeah, Alan Rickman.
Alan Rickman. The turn to page 324. I don't even think that's the right number, but Potter.
Yeah.
3 points against Gryffindor. And Terry Jones is also in this.
Yeah, Terry Jones from Monty Python.
And these are probably the 2 most recognizable celebrity voices in this movie.
Yeah.
At least that I can tell. And the other ones are like they're children, right?
Mostly children. But
mostly children.
There was a very interesting. I looked it up and I'm like, this can't be right.
Right.
Because there's a character in the movie named Chuck. Who is
a chubby kid.
Chubby kid.
Chubby nerd, I guess.
Apparently, I don't know. I mean, obviously, I'm basing this only on the Wikipedia and the IMDb, which are not the most reliable sources out there. But apparently, there was 2 voices for him. I guess because one either got too old or whatever.
Yeah.
And one of them is supposedly Aaron Paul,
right,
from Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
and BoJack Horseman. Mm-hmm. Which I worked on the first season of BoJack Horseman. So I was like, Aaron Paul, because I actually knew about Aaron Paul through BoJack and not through Breaking Bad, because I never saw Breaking Bad until recently.
Right.
But I was like, Aaron Paul, really? No, that can't be right. And I looked at him like apparently, I mean, he was only probably about 19 when this movie came out.
He was pretty young.
So he was fairly young, so he could have been that character. And I know...
and the other, I guess the other voice for Chuck... which I'm going off of the IMDb page, and there are Dutch voice actors, and there's also the English voice actors for this.
Many of the English voice actors are anime voices.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You were saying you were looking that up, and it's really interesting. There's Alan Rickman and Terry Jones are pretty much at least most recognizable to me. So,
yeah, to me too.
Yeah.
Especially Terry Jones, because I'm a huge Monty Python fan.
Yeah. And so we started watching this movie, and first off, really impressed by the introduction of this movie. It's like it's CG fish through a very nice blue ocean,
murky ocean, scenic, and they kind of appear kind of like almost through a fog or a mist, and they appear. And
and the music that was playing was very poppy. And
another thing, the music throughout this movie is fairly like, I don't know, I guess apparently the same songs were in, I guess because the film, even though it was animated in Germany and in Denmark,
everything is it's to the English voice cast.
English, it's actually
Yeah, the mouth's really
the lip sync is American. Everything about it is English.
I was waiting. I was actually waiting for them to be like out of sync, but actually, it really fit. It was kind of like Asterix when Asterix and the Vikings.
Yeah, when that movie was done, it was all done for English.
Yeah. Which I don't know.
Mostly
I always
American
find that
actors,
interesting.
too.
I always find that interesting because, like, maybe it's because in Europe, I guess they want to try to make the movie for the British crowd, the UK maybe, but this apparently premiered in Ireland as well.
Yeah, well, that could be it.
Yeah,
it's one of the films. One of the studios was in Dublin.
Right. Yeah. So hey, I mean, like, Ireland actually has like a lot of nice animation studios.
Yeah.
I can't remember them off the top of my head, but I know that a lot of people have gone to Ireland to do animation there.
Well, I think, Cartoon Saloon is one of the studios, and they're up in Ireland.
Right, a saloon.
Cartoon Saloon. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They did Secret of Kells and Song of the Sea.
Oh, yeah, and all of that is like beautiful movies. So let's delve into the story of this
Or let's
movie.
dive in.
Yes, let's... God, all right.
I thought you were going to make that joke, and I'm like...
No, I was not. I was trying to be very considerate to the audience.
When you made that little bit country, a little bit rock and roll statement before, I just thought, you're on a roll here. I'll just go with it.
I'm never on a roll. Okay, so... Yes, we start off with a family of a young child, a boy, and a smaller girl, by the names of
the boy is
Fly.
Which is
I
an
thought
odd
they
name.
said Fry at first.
Yeah,
I was like, Fry?
Yeah.
Like from Futurama?
Yeah, and he looks kind of
He almost kind of looked like him,
a little
too.
bit.
Yeah, like a very a feature animated version of Fry.
And then the girl is named Stella.
And Stella!
Yeah, everyone was yelling Stella throughout the first 15 minutes of the movie. So
yeah, exactly, because
it sounded like a Tennessee Williams play.
And as the little girl, it's like, you kind of when you first see a movie and there's like a little girl, like character. A younger girl character in this, you kind of expect her to be like very annoying,
like kind of like
obnoxious.
the troll in Central Park. The little
Yeah,
girl
exactly. Like that's always what I go to, that little girl from Troll in Central Park. But she was pretty good.
Yeah, and we noticed that she looks like, especially from the side or from the back, she just looked like one of the Chipettes.
Yeah. Even Fry kind of had a little Alvin-ish look to his
Even
face.
His hat was flipped up like Alvin.
But like classic Alvin, from the movie. No, like the early 2D animated movie, not the CG one.
The hot air balloon one.
Yeah, the hot air balloon.
Yeah.
The Chipmunk's Adventure.
Yes.
Yes, that's the title. You have to talk about that at
There's
some
many
point.
movies.
There's many movies. I'm sorry. I don't mean to digress.
Yeah.
But yes, we are introduced to these two kids pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And apparently, I guess their parents, one who is Jeff Bridges and the other one who is...
Not actually Jeff Bridges, but he looks almost exactly like Jeff
almost,
Bridges.
Yeah, you put him in a robe, he could
the
go
first
for
thing we
the
thought of
animated
when we
dude.
saw him on screen was like, hey, it's the dude.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I get the father and the mother are going to go out, and they invite their aunt, who's looks like a huge woman.
She is a huge woman.
She is a huge woman.
And she brings over her son, Chuck.
Her son is Chuck, and he's a chubby, nerd-looking kid who's
very pessimistic.
Yeah, very
looks on the negative side of everything. Yeah,
it kind of just hates to be there, I suppose.
He'd rather be anywhere else but there.
And so I guess this all really happens really quickly because they want us to get
you right in the movie, and then suddenly the kids leave. They're
So the aunt is trying to read to the little girl to get her to sleep, and then the aunt falls asleep. So the kid gets up out of bed and then talks to Fry, and then they say "Oh boy, let's go fishing,"
which apparently kids like to do.
Well, I mean, if you're close to the ocean, I'm sure.
I could personally, maybe because it's a different society over there in Europe, but. There's a kid who brings over a computer, which is like, ooh,
like
a
laptop.
Yeah, and then the kid's like, let's go fishing. Let's leave. Screw the computer. Let's go fishing.
Forget technology.
Yeah, let's go. So they all go to this weird.
We should probably say that Chuck was kind of blackmailed into going fishing.
He's got a flop. It's 2000s. As if he has a floppy
floppy
disk.
Yeah, and so he's like gonna say like, I'm gonna break this if you don't come with us. And I'm just thinking, it's like, why would you want to bring him with you if you don't like him that much? But I think it's more like, he was gonna tell the aunt, like,
right. So
what they were
you got to come with us.
Yeah, you got to come with us. And apparently, when they get to the beach, they outright say Chuck can't swim, and they're out there like at a rock,
at like a shawl, or like it's a shoal. Sorry, a shawl is a thing you wear. But yeah, they go out and they're on pretty much Pride Rock at sea.
Yeah,
and they're fishing, and then the tide starts to come in.
Tide comes in, and
they discover a secret entrance.
Yeah, which is really weird because, like, okay, there's a lot of weird things to this movie. It looks brilliant.
Yeah, it's a beautiful looking movie.
It is so beautifully, like, layout. The layouts are really nice, and they have very beautiful shots with very well where the scenes are, and like where the backgrounds meet and where they focus on the characters.
Yeah, really well.
And the colors are really brilliant too. I get a little sign of Fry kind of throws me off a little bit.
It's almost if there's a little too little drawn on him.
Yeah, exactly.
So it almost feels like there's times where he turns his face.
Yeah, he's almost too simplistic.
Well, luckily he's a fish for most of the movie.
Right. Like, it's like, well, there are some good design to them. There still seems something really off to them. And I have to be honest, like, throughout the entire movie, the animation is very well...
It's very consistent.
Yeah, very consistent. So, that's something to say about this movie. I was like, I was expecting...
There's like multiple studios animating on it. Usually the quality jumps up and down.
Yeah, you start to notice that this is by the A team, this is by the B team, this is by the C team, and it's like they all have to kind of work together from distance and try to figure out, like, okay, is this really what we're gonna...
They didn't lose the model sheet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
They kept everything.
Yeah. So it's very consistent, and I'm happy to say that was a really beautiful looking movie.
Yeah,
and it's great to see it in traditional animation too, because having seen so many CG movies now and going back to see a traditionally animated movie that's really good looking, I mean, that's something to say. That's really...
And I don't know what the budget was of this movie, but
yeah,
I assume it made about $5 million, which isn't a lot of money.
No, it's not.
But yeah, we don't know the whole story about it.
No,
but
we don't.
I assume since it was an independent production, that was probably...
Yeah, we looked this up and we couldn't find the budget for the entire movie. We just saw the box office numbers. And since this wasn't really...
It's not a big name studio.
I don't even think it was even released in the U.S. I mean,
it wasn't. It was European.
Yeah, so... I mean, that's kind of like limiting the audience as well. So maybe that's a good number for Europe.
Yeah, or maybe it made more and we don't know.
Yeah, so I don't know. If we could find some more information about this, I'd love to. Because, this was a fairly interesting movie to watch.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, so they're stuck on this rock. The tide's coming in. And this was really jarring.
Yeah,
because
it bugged me too.
Yeah, at first, then we focus on Chuck. And then all of a sudden, we see the rock is like, Fry and Stella aren't there anymore. And Chuck is like, guys, where'd you go? Guys. And then he falls back into like a trap door against the wall, and he falls down this crevice. And Fry and Stella are there. It's like, hey, we found a secret area. It's like, you just left Chuck there? He was going to drown.
The thing is, he was leaning up against that wall.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And then he turns around, they're gone. So he must have felt that door open.
Yeah, there was like
it's a secret door.
Yeah, the scenes didn't really connect very well at that point. But in a sense, it was kind of dramatic. It's like, oh God, what's Chuck gonna do? Oh, he's gonna fall back into this trap door, and
then they get flushed into a...
Yeah, they get flushed into a deeper into the cavern, where they find this like a old pirate ship, or
it's
like an old home
ship. It's a ship, and
it's like a mishmash of stuff.
Yeah,
it's a makeshift house for what is a scientist. Yeah, and they enter, and really a lot of great things to look at in this.
Very imaginative.
Though there was a mouse fish.
Yeah, which they never...
which was never addressed at all for the rest of the movie, but it was pretty cute.
Yeah. And they go in and they meet this professor.
Yes, they meet up with a professor who is, I guess, a specialist.
Marine biologist.
Specialist in
PhD,
marine biology.
Yeah. And his name is Professor McCrill.
Professor McCrill, and he's played by Terry Jones.
And he is probably
pretty crazy.
Yeah, he's definitely.
I mean, he's psychotic. I mean, let's.
He's an absent-minded professor.
Yeah, I like how there's a lot of like trollish moments in this movie where it's like you think this is going to happen, but then all of a sudden it's it's something else. Like they introduce this guy as some sort of like mad scientist, and you see the silhouette of this crazy-haired, like evil-eyed professor that's gonna like get the kids. But then he turns on the light, and he's just like a really goofy-looking character.
And I said before we're sitting down that his design was very. I looked at him like, is that Professor Screw Eyes from We're Back?
Yeah, and then it's like when you said that, I noticed that. I was like, yeah, it's like a very
even down to the hair, like the tufts of hair. And
yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's a very
he's a very soft, rounded. This Professor Screw Eyes.
Yeah, he's very and he's voiced by Terry Jones.
Mm-hmm. And of course, he has that silly like, "Ooh, hey, how you doing?"
He sounds like one of his characters.
But he wasn't like really crazy. He wasn't like super crazy. Like you can tell that he was absent-minded, and he was just like, oh,
he's a doddering.
It's like, what's my name? Dr. McCrill. Oh, nice to meet you, Dr. McCrill. Why don't you come into my lab? And he was basically talking about his experiment, which is to, I guess, de-evolve people back into fish. And then he had like this entire song about how he made it.
Yeah.
It will make it possible for human beings to survive underwater. Now, let me show you how to mix fish potion. First, you take some... what was it? Oh, codfish whiskers. Now I've got it. My memory is not what it used to be. This is why I made this song.
And, they come back to that later in the movie. It's like, at first, when you watch that, it's like, why the hell is this song happening?
Yeah.
But it's like, I guess this song was something like, okay, this is something that I'm using to remember how I built my potion to turn people into fish.
Because he says that in the next century or so, water levels are going to keep rising.
Oh yeah, there's like an environmental message to all of this. So, but it's not so much subtle. It's just like it's there, and then I'm thinking it's like, oh, they're going to hammer down this entire thing. But no, it's just to introduce.
But I think it's kind of funny that like instead of figuring out
how to stop the polar ice caps from melting,
let's just accept our fate and we'll become fish.
Let's just become fish.
So he creates a potion.
Waterworld's going to happen anyway.
Yeah, to turn people into a fish.
Yeah,
and he also has the antidote to said potion, which turns you back from a fish.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I guess he must have had to have tested it on something.
Probably,
but because he says that once
he? Yeah.
Well, he says after they've taken it that because you assume the smoking gun on the table, you see it, there's a potion, someone's going to drink it.
Right.
But
throughout this entire time, also, Stella is thirsty.
She's like, I'm thirsty.
Yeah.
And, but he says that the potion it's always that whenever you drink something or do something, you only have 48 hours, so you're going to be a fish forever.
Yeah.
Which is like, okay. Well, I mean, it adds the element of like the ticking clock.
Yeah. So there is like some drama to that.
But there should have, whenever I see something like that, there should have been added like, oh, I've tested this out, but so far with this particular potion, you only have 48 hours.
Yeah.
I don't know. The effects only last, either they only last for 48 hours or you have to turn back in 48 hours.
Yeah, it's an element that really wasn't needed, but it was, I guess, kind of necessary to make it a little bit more
urgent for them to turn back
the urgency needed to be there for the rest of the movie.
But yeah, so they establish this thing, and while Chuck, Fry, and the professor are distracted, Stella comes over and she goes, ooh, and she drinks it.
Yeah.
And then we're treated to this.
Oh my God, she goes into an entire drug trip.
Oh my God, and it was really well done, and the background gets warped. It's like about 40 seconds.
40 seconds of just pure, like, LSD trip. And
we sat down, and I was like, oh my God, Stella's tripping balls. she's
was
freaking
even
out.
see it in her face. It was like her eyes like went like her pupils dilated and there was like colors everywhere and she was going like it almost looked like she was going into another dimension.
It looked like she was going into the scene in 2001, The
Right.
Space Odyssey, where she's going through that colorful tunnel.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then she ends up turning into a
Starfish. Yeah, which
Fry unknowingly says, "Hey, look!
There's a starfish on the floor. We got to put this in some water." And he was gonna put it into the piranha tank, but then he's like, "Oh no!" And
you can't find anything.
He can't find any water, even though there's like a tank of water like on the floor right there. So there's like a window that he goes to, and he's just gonna fling this starfish out into the sea.
Yeah.
Well, he does anyway, and then there's like this moment where Chuck realizes, because the entire thing was recorded on a camcorder, because he was gonna the professor was gonna
record it for posterity.
Yeah, in that moment, I just thought of like the scene from Back to the Future. It's like, okay, Marty, just record this. Hello, I am I am Professor. Yeah. And yeah, so Chuck finds out as Fry is about to throw the starfish out into sea, and then there is this moment where he's like, "No, Fry!" And slow motion, and he chucks her out the window. And then immediately we go out into the ocean where I guess they all found this out, and now they're trying to look for Stella.
And a storm is brewing, so they're on these choppy waters, and the waves are coming over.
And they're trying to look for Stella in this storm, but they can't. And the professor's like going loopy, and then all of a sudden, Fry takes the potion to turn himself into a fish, and I think, it's funny because when I watched this movie at first and I saw that, I was thinking to myself, like, why would he do that? That's idiotic. But when you think about it, later on in the movie, they talk about how he wasn't really very thoughtful.
He's very impulsive.
He's very impulsive, just dives into it. And that kind of makes sense now,
like we were wondering why is this happening, and then at the end of the movie, it all comes together.
It all kind of makes sense. I was worried. Like every time something happened, I was like, are there going to be any repercussions to this? And I have to stop doing that because sooner or later that will actually come back, and there will be an explanation to it, and it's like,
and there are moments throughout this movie where there is something that you call back to later in the movie. But so anyway, he drinks the potion.
Becomes a fish, and falls.
Chuck also drinks the potion.
Well, Chuck drinks the potion because he can't swim, and now he's in the water. He doesn't know what to do, so he drinks that, and he becomes a jellyfish, which is kind of weird. I mean, it's like, I guess it's fitting to the personality of the character, because you see this round character. They fit the characters to the human element to it. And I gotta be honest, I like fry fish better than
human fish.
Yeah, human.
He's got a big nose.
Human fish.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean human person?
Human person. Fry fish, human fish, whatever.
Yeah,
fish.
The designs are really fun.
Yeah. So they go into the sea, and then the professor. You suppose that he might have drowned.
Yeah, because there was a huge wave that crashed on him, and the antidote potion falls to the bottom of the ocean, and it starts to
leak
out, and it hits like a fish and a shark.
It's like a shark, and then like the
fish one of those fish that helps clean the shark. Yeah, and this fish turns into Alan Rickman.
And the design of the fish looks like a combination of Carface from All Dogs Go to Heaven meets like, I don't know, the Mock from Rock and Rule, but as a fish. It just
you're right.
Very big lips.
I was mentioning this. It kind of looks like he's from Fish Police.
Yeah, you said he looked like Fish Police. Very weird. Probably the most
one of the most obscure Fox cartoons from Saturday morning. Is like it's funny because it's a show that was like meant for prime time.
Yeah,
but it was on Saturday morning.
Yeah, after the Simpsons got popular, they were trying to make shows like it, and they made Fish Police.
But his design was pretty neat. It was like very. I mean, you know, as
It was
far
neat,
as
but
villains
it
go,
definitely stood out like a sore thumb in
Yeah.
comparison to some of the other characters in the
yeah.
movie.
With the shark as well. You know, the shark like gets a little bit more cartoony looking, and
Yeah.
and he has like his teeth are very, you know,
It's
jagged.
pretty much the equivalent of again, We're Back. They have the cereal that makes
Yeah.
them smart, and then they just sort of become cartoony dinosaurs.
Yeah, this is
It's very similar.
a lot of elements to this movie are pretty similar to
We're
We're Back.
Back,
Now that
yeah.
you mention that, but I kind of like this a lot better.
Yeah, in a way.
What happened? Whoa! What's that sound?
I believe we have acquired the power of speech, my voracious friend. I can talk. I can think. What a delicious beverage. Can you feel the power? Can you taste it?
Taste it? Oh! Food! Oi! Clean my teeth! There's stuff in the cracks!
Henceforth, oral hygiene is no longer my department.
What?
I don't clean anymore. Try dental floss. From now on, I call the shots.
Stella and Fry and Chuck reconvene.
Yeah, they reconvene pretty quickly.
But Stella meets a
little seahorse.
A little seahorse who she names Sasha, who's this cute, probably the cutest design in the movie.
really, really cute design.
Really
I
great
love the design of this seahorse.
This little seahorse,
Yeah.
little baby seahorse.
Yeah, and you know, has like very doe eyes and
Very cute little thing.
And you know, I think at first it's like a very skittish looking seahorse, like doesn't know what to think of Stella.
And then
but
Stella starts to play with her,
and that we get another music cue.
and the music is really it oddly stands out for the movie.
It reminds me of the music from Aqua. You know,
Yeah,
like,
like
the
Barbie
I'm a
girl.
Barbie girl. Dude. It's like it's very electro popish looking sounding.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
bubblegummy kind of just this, and it almost takes away from the movie.
It does, because the urgency, there's still urgency there, but then it's like, you know, this little girl doesn't really know what's going on.
Yeah, she's very accepting. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh no, I'm a starfish.
They're all
and then-
pretty accepting of this.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, they're just like, oh, we're fish now, and we have to look for each other, and
Yeah.
now we have to figure out how we're going to...
Right. Now Chuck is the wet blanket, and he's just like, guys, don't you get it? We got to turn back and all this stuff.
We have to look for the antidote.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, this fish named, we later find out his name is Joe.
And his friend is named
Shark. So it's Joe and Shark.
Yeah.
Not very creative names, but I'll let that go.
I mean, I just thought it was funny that the one fish is called Joe, and the other guy is he's a shark, and it's like, well, we'll call him Shark.
Yeah. So, but later we find out that Joe very quickly has been turning fish into like smarter. Like
fish.
they're smarter. They can talk. It's like when they were introduced to the anti-fish potion, they kind of evolved. You know, it's like they suddenly realized, like, I can talk.
Yeah.
Suddenly I can understand.
And this particular fish is evil for some reason.
Oh yeah, he's very evil.
Of all the fish that
if you hang around with a shark, I'm pretty sure you're gonna like become evil.
Yeah, and he becomes smarter than the shark, so he kind of becomes the boss to the shark rather than being just like the sidekick of the shark.
Yes. So, which is an interesting dynamic. I mean, when you think about it, I mean, this is a fish that cleans a shark, and then it just wants to become number one.
They go into this big.
Yeah.
What is this place? It's like a weird cannery, which I don't understand because it's weird because it has big cogs in it, but it's undersea. There's never a moment where you look at it and be like, oh, that's clearly an oil rig. Or that's clearly
it's like a sunken ship. But like almost like a Titanic ship. But
and it's weird because there are like those flatfish carrying sardines into it. Like why?
Right.
And they're live sardines, but they're in the cans.
Yeah.
And it was whatever. But they go inside and it looks like a giant like Republican debate rally.
Yeah, it's like
just a bunch of and there's a moment in
it
that
becomes like a cult.
Yeah, like a cult scene
very quickly. But I might add, this happens in almost an instant. He turned an entire ocean almost into
on a very small amount of of this of
Oh yeah,
anti-potion.
this bottle is tiny.
The bottle is about the size of a cologne.
I don't know how
bottle.
much how much stuff he distributed, how many fish are actually already sentient.
We probably
and-
gave them a very small amount, so they're not super smart like him.
Yeah, that's a good point to make.
But you never see that.
No, you don't
You see
see
it during.
It's implied.
Yeah, there's a scene where he had Alan Rickman's the Joe. I'm just gonna call him Alan Rickman Fish. And Alan Rickman Fish has a song that's not a very memorable song.
No, it's not. But
It's very much like Rasputin's song from Anastasia.
yeah, and that's funny that you bring that up because the entire time I was thinking, it's like, did Don Bluth direct this portion of it? Because all of a sudden the characters had like really large mouths. It was very
the colors got very bright.
very bouncy. Like the characters were very like, swishy and
Yeah, and there was one shot where they have these blank, big, toothy grins, and it holds for a while. And we were just like, "Can we cut, please?"
Yeah, we were kind of creeped out because they were talking about how this fish is like now a god. They outwardly say that this fish, Joe, this Alan Rickman fish, is now their god.
Yeah.
This has become a fish cult.
Yeah,
And-
and these fish are just like blindly like looking up.
Yeah,
to this
just
guy
like,
with
okay, I
with
guess. Well,
big toothy grins.
yeah, we have everything to hold to this
It's
guy.
an army of-
He is the king of krill.
What was the I couldn't understand half the lyrics.
Yeah,
in that song.
it was a little difficult to understand a lot of the dialogue in especially in the music portions because everything was very loud and
Yeah.
yeah, but it was a cool scene. I mean,
Yeah.
there was a lot of. I mean, I should say that in the musical portions of this, the songs aren't memorable at all, but everything about it, like visually, is really impressive.
It comes together, yeah.
Yeah, and they were boarded really well. There's like very vibrant colors everywhere. Everything was just there were focal points.
There was never a moment where I'm like, wait, what's going on? It's cutting too fast.
Yeah.
It's planned. There's some good shot flow, and you can
Yeah.
see things
No,
going.
yeah. The story flowed. I shouldn't say it flowed effortlessly because there are moments where it's like things just happen way too fast.
Yeah.
And then there are moments where it's like, I don't know if this really needed explanation,
Yeah.
But honestly, okay, so we get this evil fish song, and Fry tries to get the bottle almost immediately out of his hand. Like I guess Fry is like this kind of smooth talker. Like he tries to
He tries
come
to Bugs Bunny himself out of a situation, but he's too impulsive, and he kind of just gets him into deeper trouble.
Yeah. So, and that kind of like backfires on him a lot of times in the movie,
But
especially when they're caught in the cage.
Yeah, because they get captured by Joe and the shark.
The shark, like, oh my god.
We got to talk about some.
We need to talk about the moments where the shark just all out eats the fuck out of these fish.
Yeah, he'll just eat a fish, and then you see him spit out the bones almost
and there's
immediately.
blood.
Yeah, there's blood.
There's
and
like
guts and
blood
stuff.
and chunks, and like, my god, this is brutal.
Yeah.
I was like, every time something like that happened, I looked to you with this face of pure terror.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god.
Because his characters with
Did
personality.
that really happen?
It was
Yeah,
nuts.
yeah, especially because these characters is like, they just killed a sentient fish. Just all out murdered
And
right
you hear
in
the
front of it.
crunching and everything, and
Yeah.
then he burps or something, and then you see the bones come
Yeah,
out.
you see the
and little shreds of skin and stuff. It's really disgusting.
Yeah, oh god, it's really
Yeah.
gruesome.
And we would turn to each other and be like, oh my god, it just keeps happening again and again. I guess
Yeah.
we're accepting of this world of killer fish.
I guess so. So, yeah, that happened.
Yeah. So they get captured.
They get captured. They're trapped in. Oh, every once in a while, where we cut back to I guess the human
family,
world, the
yeah.
family, and at first the aunt is like, she doesn't know what's happened. She's freaked out because she's like, Chuck, where's my Chuck? Oh, did and she's like, really an insane woman. And then later on, the parents of Fry and Stella come home. And, it's basically like, oh, God, we got to find our kids.
Right.
The police aren't doing anything, which kind of like, in my head, I think it's like, okay, children are missing. The police are too busy to look for lost children.
It doesn't
they're
look like
right.
that big of a town either. It's just it's a house near the water.
You would think that the police would like jump at this because they're right next to the ocean. And at any moment, like, children could drown and die in the ocean, yet they don't care about this family's children.
And then there's a moment where the aunt grabs the phone.
And she gets pretty abrasive.
She's like, I'm a taxpayer and I can have your badge. I'll sue you for all. And then at that point, you think in your head, like, if I was a cop on the other side, it's like, you know what? If you're going to be such a bitch, maybe I won't go look for your kids.
Right.
Goodbye.
Well, you know what? I guess your kid's a fish food, so bye.
Yeah, bye.
Yes.
But as the movie goes on, we cut back occasionally back to the family.
Yeah.
And they are searching.
They're searching. And these are moments that happen periodically throughout the movie. It's like we get back and we see like the family looking for, and they also meet up with the professor later on.
The professor washes
up
and
he not so much explains he explains like what happens. And the aunt like faints.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, my son is a fish now. Oh. She kind of remembers, like, it reminds me of one of the Dursleys from Harry Potter. Like
another Alan Rickman connection.
Yes. Oh God. When did Harry Potter first come out? Like, it
2000.
Was in 2000.
2001ish.
Well, this movie was probably in production before Harry Potter even came out, I'm sure.
Well, the books were probably already out by that point too.
Yeah, probably. But I don't know if there's really any connection to this. Someone someone told me, and this is really funny. I'm going to digress for a minute. The movie Troll, someone told me that there is some conspiracy that who's the writer of Harry Potter?
J.K. Rowling.
J.K. Rowling. She basically stole the idea of Harry Potter from this movie Troll because a character in that movie is named Harry Potter.
Oh my God!
And there's apparently some sort of huge conspiracy connecting everything that happens in the Troll movie to what happens in the books. And I'm just thinking to myself, I was like, that's pretty, I don't know. I don't really think I understand.
You have to read or see.
You really have to like dig deep into this.
Well, if you scrounge enough, you'll find the most obscure ways to compare one thing to another.
Yeah. So anyway, what I'm saying is, it's like, there's probably absolutely no connection to Harry Potter. I'm just like saying like, yes. All right. Alan Rickman's in this movie. That's it.
Okay. Snape is a fish. Cool.
Snape is a fish.
On.
Snape fish, yeah.
Snape fish is here.
And he has like Joker makeup.
Oh yeah, he looks like the Joker. He looks like a Heath Ledger. Like you imagine him just licking his lips. Oh, Batman. So you want the potion now?
Yeah.
But
okay.
So
going back to where they're trapped in the jail cell, we notice that Fry is like a little bit more. Nothing that he really does is working because he's trying to trick this crab who is now like a soldier. It's like the Alan Rickman fish turned this crab into like a soldier, and it's a really neat design.
It looks like something you would draw.
Thank you. I mean, I'll take that as a compliment.
It's a really unique design. This crab.
He has a huge cleft
chin jaw.
Yeah, and he has like a very like square helmet. Like
he looks like a soldier, which is kind of perfect because he's a
and he
crab.
keeps saying it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because he has 6 legs and it's pretty funny. And he's trying to trick him into opening up the cage, but he can't. And then all of a sudden, Sasha comes in,
little seahorse,
and she tries to get the key from the sleeping crab. All of a sudden awakens it, and then we're treated to this whole
little chase.
Yeah, and I just love Fry's first reaction. It's like, drop the key! Drop the key and give it to us. Who cares what you're going to die.
What I thought was interesting was that there wasn't that moment of, like, you think, like, oh, he has the key, get the key. But the Fry tries to trick the crab into bending the bars to get it open.
Right.
And he's like, we bend the bar, and the crab's like, it's too easy. And then he just ends up cutting the key in half. Which is like, holy shit! Like how? Because you think like,
how are they gonna get out now?
Because you think, it's gonna be like Cinderella or something where they have to get the key and they have to get it back.
Yeah.
And sneak past the guard or whatever.
They still get the key anyway.
They get the key, but then he gets the key and then. The fish gets the key, and then the crab opens the cage with his
because he's trying to get through to Sasha
to get the key.
Yeah, on the other side. So it's basically the crab still opens up the
crab
bars
is an idiot.
Yeah, the crab's a pretty
dumb guy.
Yeah, and it's like the key wasn't really needed anyway.
Right, which I think is great.
Yeah. But it's funny. It's like this whole time, it's like, get the key, get the key. It's like, and I'm thinking, it's like, how if you get the key, how are you going to use it?
Yeah,
it doesn't have a handle.
But it was great. It ended up real, and then they escape.
They escape. They meet up with the Alan Rickman fish again, like almost immediately, because breakfast.
Yeah,
I guess it's like in the morning.
they said if you don't, because he tries to make a deal because they try to explain. No, it's a potion made by the whatever, and we don't know how to make the potion.
Yeah,
and he's like, well, if we're gonna put you in this cage, and if you don't. You have to tell us by
morning.
morning.
That's true, because he wants to have more potion. Yeah, I forgot about that element. He wanted more
potion.
Yeah, he wanted more potion to make more fish people
to follow him,
and probably to make himself more smart. Because I think there's an element where that happens later on.
I think it's almost implied. It doesn't. They don't show enough in the movie, but there's moments where you think maybe is the character is this villain fish secretly taking more and more potion because he keeps occasionally going back and taking a sip, and then he grows a longer fin, or he gets bulkier.
Yeah, and that's met later into the movie, and we'll get into that.
Yeah,
but they apparently the kids escape. I don't exactly remember how. Oh yeah, they slip through one of the holes,
like the porthole. Yeah.
So they're basically there out in the open. And they're trying to think, like, how are we going to get the potion? It's back there. It's like, we'll make more potion. Because I remember that song that the professor sang, and he gave off all the ingredients in his song, and now we're going to make that.
Right, and then they had, instead of having...
And that was like and there's like a montage with that afterwards, where they're looking for all the ingredients, and there's...
It's a 2-minute montage of them finding all the ingredients for this potion, which you think like
with another song.
Yeah, it's another song, another very poppy, loud song. But part of me was like, the movie would have been 2 hours long, but there should have been moments where it's like, now we have to get the 3 ingredients, and they have to go here.
Almost like a quest,
yeah.
Right?
And there's even moments where, like, because one of the ingredients is that they have to get the light from an anglerfish. And there's a moment where the anglerfish corners them in a corner, and you're
then
like, how
it
are they
just
going to get
cuts
out?
away.
And then it cuts, and then you just see them have the angler.
Yeah, later
light.
on, and then it just have it, and it's like I guess Chuck has bruises on him or something. It's like I think they kind of like wrote themselves into a corner. It's like, oh, how are we going to get out of this one? Oh, we'll just cut away.
Yeah, which is kind of funny. But at the same time, it's like, oh.
But at the same time, it's like, yeah, that could have been worked out a little bit better.
But they instead of doing like, oh, we have to race against time, we got to find these ingredients, make the potion, and turn back human before it's too late.
Yeah, and
instead they just have a 2-minute montage, and they're like, okay, we got the potion. Oh no, they get everything but there's one ingredient, which is the octopus's ink. Yeah,
so they're in this area where they're in a like I guess this open area where there's rocks that are kind of shaped like tentacles.
I mean, you could see it from the beginning.
Yes,
it's like that. That's
it's really nice. It's really nicely drawn.
Yeah,
I mean, the way everything is positioned and everything. It's like you kind of see. It's like, well, that kind of looks like an octopus. I think that's going to become an octopus. And
I mean, I saw it from a mile away. Like, that's an octopus.
Yeah, there are moments in this movie where you'll see what is happening. Like you even pointed out when she said she was thirsty.
I'm like, she's going to drink the potion.
She's going to drink the potion. And it was like, yeah, you know what? You're right.
It's the old storytelling thing where if you read a story and someone brings attention, a gun on the wall,
right,
or a gun on the table, by the end of that story, that gun is going to go off.
Yeah,
it's like a basic storytelting element. But there are moments in the movie where they call back.
Yeah, nothing happens like randomly. It's just it's planned out. Foreshadowing.
Yeah, foreshadowing.
Like very easy foreshadowing as well. But beside that, it's like, things happen pretty well. I'm not gonna blame this movie for being obvious, because there are moments where it's like, yes, this is pretty obvious and I can tell that. But I'm not gonna bash the movie for that.
It moves the story along.
Yeah, exactly.
The important thing. It's you want to keep the flow going.
There were honestly other elements of this movie where I was questioning if there was going to be any resolve to this issue, and while it was taking a bit too long to be resolved.
Yeah.
Eventually, it did.
Yeah, which is good.
So in that sense, there was a good balance to it.
There's no moment where you're. Asking questions. Like, I mean, at the end...
you're asking questions.
We're skipping ahead now, but after... You're asking questions, but at the end of the movie, everything that you saw in the movie is resolved.
Right.
To an extent. Like, you're not asking... There's questions that you're asking about, like, okay, how or why.
Yeah, because the entire time, Chuck is like, he's just constantly complaining. He's just like,
Yeah.
how are we going to do this? I mean, like, you don't...
We only got, like...
He's pretty monotone at some points.
Yeah,
and I
and-
think that's like also there are points where you can kind of tell there were different actors for
Yeah,
it.
but
because when you mentioned that there were two different actors, like there were moments where it's like very monotone and like just flat lines being read. And then there's other moments where it's like, oh, he's acting like a kid, you know? Like, it's just like, how are we going to do this? We can't do this in like 12 minutes. And by the way, time is like going by fast.
Yeah.
It's like, at this moment, there's like only 12 minutes left throughout this entire for this entire ordeal.
Yeah.
And yeah, so Chuck is just like complaining, being really whiny, doesn't really resolve anything. And I would think to myself, like, is there going to be any point where this character is kind of like going to redeem this kind of like obnoxious attitude where he's going to help a situation, or he's going to actually resolve something with himself because, you know, he couldn't swim, he doesn't want to do anything, he just he thinks of things logically. I mean,
but it gets resolved really well.
It does.
Like so what happens is they create the potion, and right when they create the potion, the fish, the villain fish, the
Alan Rickman
fish,
and
the
a
shark,
bunch of crabs,
and an army of crabs, including the one guard crab, come and they corner them, and Fry is now like trying to figure out, okay, how do I get out of the situation? And he can't think of anything.
Right.
And then the one crab
slashes him.
Like, and I'm like, oh my god! And we
shanks him.
At one point, we made a joke where the whole screen turns red, and it looks like in Grand Theft Auto when someone gets hit.
Oh yeah, he's like wasted.
And we looked at it, and we were laughing.
I want to make a GIF of that,
Yeah.
and then put rejected on it.
Yeah.
or wasted on it.
But we were laughing, and then we stopped, and we're like, holy shit, there's blood! He gets slashed by this crab.
He was shanked by a crab.
Yeah.
He was like all out.
Yeah.
And he's like goes down hard. Like he hits the ground and he's like hugging himself like,
and even the area around his eyes get very like when people lose blood.
And he goes like, is it getting cold? That's really grim.
Yeah, it is. It's really, really grim.
There is like real tension for like
real stakes here.
Yeah, so it really makes you feel like, oh my god,
holy shit,
these are characters that could actually die.
Yeah, and then you at that moment we start to really think like, oh my god, they really are in danger. How are they going to get out of this? How are they going to get out of this?
All of a sudden, a freaking tornado underwater.
Yeah, a tornado comes, and then you find out that the professor and Fry's father are on a boat.
Oh, they've been looking for them in this like little boat that the professor made that basically sucks up fish from the water, and it's like Jeff Bridges like looks at each fish. It's like, no, it's not.
Fry,
them.
Is that you?
Fry, is that you? No. And he throws them out. It's like, this could be a lot of fish to go through.
Shit, there's a whole ocean full of them. But yeah, so Deus Ex Tornado.
Yeah. Oh, well, before this happened, like I guess there's some weird thing between the shark, Alan Rickman fish, and the crab.
Because
where
the crab starts taking the potion, he gets a little bit stronger.
There starts to become a power struggle between all the characters.
Yeah,
like at least the villain characters, because it's like, I'm not going to take any more orders from you anymore, and because there's like this whole flip flopping back and forth. It's like, oh, I don't want you anymore. You're just a stupid shark, and
the shark is like, that does it. And then they have a fight. And then the crab is involved, and the shark is like, well, and then he just eats the crab.
Well, the crab basically takes the potion that they made and drinks it. So it's like, that's another element of tension or of dramatic effect where it's like, oh God, now they lost the potion. What are they going to do now? So this crab basically becomes more smart, or he just becomes more powerful.
Fingers.
Yeah, he gets fingers. But that only happens for like a second before this tornado just up and sucks up every fish in the ocean.
All these crab, and then you cut to the top, and all the crab are in that boat.
Yeah, all the crab are in the boat, and it's like,
and the shark
gets stuck into that pipe. Yeah. That's the last we see of that shark, by the way.
We wonder, whatever happened? Did he suffocate in that thing?
I guess he did.
I don't know.
Probably died.
But the Alan Rickman fish escapes.
Yeah.
But, so now Fly is down on the ground on the seabed.
Yeah, he's dying.
He's dying.
Time is ticking.
And now he's at the point where he's like, I don't have any more ideas. I don't know what to do. We're doomed.
Okay.
We're screwed.
Chuck says like, come on, you always have great ideas. Like, why don't you just come up with it now? Like Chuck is really getting desperate now.
Yeah.
But then he looks over and he sees like the pipe that goes up to the professor's house. Oh, this is something that is like a callback to what the professor did. It's like, I guess there was like a switch that turned off suction from the water, and that would like, because it's like a continuous flow.
Yeah.
It's like water comes in from the ocean, goes into his tanks, where all his fish are, and it just goes back out. It's like a cycle of something.
Right, it goes into this piranha tank.
Yeah,
that he has
and then there's this pipe, and Chuck looks at it, and he's like calculating in his head what's.
And a few seconds later, he has a bag.
What's really weird about this scene is that while he's doing this, we cut back to Fry, and he's just like Fly. Sorry, I keep saying Fry.
Because he looks kind of like Fry.
I know he does, but I need to stop
anyway,
that.
Fly.
McFly.
Yeah.
It's like every time I heard that name, I was just like, "Hello, McFly. Hello." No McFly has ever in the amount of history. So yeah, he blacks out, and the whole thing just blacks out, and he thinks like, "Oh my God, he's dead." But he wakes up again.
He's like, "What happened?"
It's like, "Yeah, what happened? We're gonna do this." Like Chuck is like very flat.
Yeah, his delivery throughout this, for the rest of the movie, almost for most of the movie, he's very flat.
I guess they're trying to make him sound like very like determined.
But he doesn't. But it just doesn't. I mean, of all the acting in the movie, his is probably the weakest.
Yeah, I would say
because there's times where he's like, Stella, let him go. Just let him.
Yeah, it's like they had the two voices. Stella, let him go.
Let him go.
It's just a fish.
Yeah, it's a fish. Let it go.
20 degrees, latitude north.
What happened?
Pressure velocity ratios.
Where am I?
We're at the professor's water pump intake pipe. In the professor's lab, there is a bottle of anti-fish potion. To get to it, we have to swim through the pump system. The bottle is on the professor's work table, so we have to flood the lab in order to...
Whoa, wait. That pump will chew us up, and even if we do make it in one piece, we'd end up in the aquarium with the piranha.
Hand me the screwdriver and thread.
What? Did you hear what I just said?
Down by your tail. Screwdriver and thread. No, Stella, wait. You can't take Sasha with you. Where we're going is too dangerous for little fish like her.
Sasha's my friend. She's going to stay with me.
I'll let her keep her. We'll never get out of here anyway.
Yes, we will. Stella, say goodbye.
But so...
It's like they had the two voice actors, the one that would be to deliver the very flat lines and the one to deliver the more whiny lines.
Yeah. I have a feeling that probably what happened was they recorded a bunch of dialogue, and then they couldn't get the kid back when they needed more dialogue.
Probably because his voice changed or something.
Or something, who knows?
Yeah,
I don't know
maybe.
exactly what happened.
Well, that's what happens with kid actors. I mean,
Right.
they grow up and then all of a sudden their voice changes.
I mean, look at freaking Wart and Sword in the Stone. It's
Yeah.
like 3 separate kids in that movie.
It's funny when you point that out, and it's like all of a sudden I realize that.
Yeah.
Because when I watched that movie as a kid, it didn't really dawn on me until...
It bugged me as a kid. I was like, why does he suddenly sound like he's a little kid, and then he suddenly sounds like a teenager going through puberty?
Well, for me, it's like I kind of forgot what he sounded like at the end of the movie. It's like I forgot how he sounded like in the beginning, I should say, where I just accepted it. It's like, okay, he's just a regular voice. It's not really that distinct, but when you see it, it's like, oh yeah, his voice changed. In between the movie when it was in production.
Yeah. But
also, there's something to say about that because Wart kind of grows up in the movie as well. So maybe
it's not that long of a period of time.
No, it isn't. But I mean, I'm trying to like make sense of this, but
I think it's just really because they would do it from line to line in that movie.
Right.
There'd be a scene where we'd be like, "Oh, Archimedes, I wish Merlin was here," and it's just like, there's moments where it cuts back.
Oh wait, you're right. Because when he's calling out when he's like a king or something, it's like all of a sudden, Merlin, It's like they got the recording from before. Yeah, you're right. Okay,
But anyway, back to Help, I'm a Fish.
Yes.
Or a fish
Okay,
tale.
so he's basically saying it's like, I came up with how we're going to get back.
A very convoluted plan.
Yeah, and this is stuff, it's like, how the hell would he know this?
Right.
There's like a grating in there, and then there's like a fan, and then there's some other sort of grating in there. It's
the fact that he knew that there was grating and a fan and all that
and they knew it was going to go straight into the piranha tank. So that's another element of this where it's like, how the hell are they going to get out of this one? So, yeah, I mean, he just has like a bunch of stuff in this sock that he keeps flying. And throughout the entire time, it's just like, take out the screwdriver. All right. And takes out the screwdriver, and then they
unscrews the grate.
Unscrew the grate. And the entire time this is happening, Alan Rickman Fish is following them.
In this pipe.
Yeah, in this pipe. And they're... I guess one of the plans was to get the piranha to get stuck in the pipe where the water goes out.
The water goes out and it blocks the pipe.
Yeah, and it blocks the water, and it just like fills up the lab.
So it's just to flood the lab so they can get they can reach a height where there is more antidote potion.
Yeah, there is. Okay, that last antidote potion that is in the lab.
Yeah.
So that's that's the initial goal that they're trying to get to. So, there's this big plan. Everything happens. And Alan Rickman Fish suddenly gets the potion, and he's like, ha ha ha, now I'm going to just take this and goodbye.
And then there's a really great moment where it's the weird thing is that there's a moment where
the piranha get out.
And then the piranhas, and then suddenly Chuck has like martial arts powers, and he could kick the ass of all these piranhas.
Okay, listen, I will understand the fact that all of a sudden Chuck is really brave, and now he has a plan because...
And it's a very convoluted plan.
Yeah, it's a very convoluted plan, but at the same time, it's like this is redeeming his qualities from before where he's just like, just complaining and think of things like, oh, nothing right's going to happen, we're all doomed. No, and this is now me taking charge of something, let's just take charge of something on my own, and then we can get through it.
Right.
So, because, Fly was the one that was coming up with all the plans, and now that he can't, it's up to Chuck.
Yeah.
So that's really what the redeeming quality is. What I can't get by is now he knows Kung Fu. He is a fish that is basically...
A jellyfish.
A jellyfish that is kicking the ass of every piranha that is coming toward him. And I was just like... Okay. All right.
Moving on.
All right.
Yeah.
That happened.
And then we get this really...
We had to get rid of the piranha somehow.
Yeah, right. Then we get this really crazy moment.
Oh, we got to discuss that. Okay. Leading up to this final moment where Fly... Fly... I keep saying Fry. I'm sorry.
Whatever.
Fly. I am a little fly. And it's So Fly basically follows Alan Rickman Fish because he has the potion now, and now they're like, he has to come up with this idea. It's like, you're not really that smart, and then Alan Rickman's like, his ego.
Oh yeah.
His ego starts to get to him. It's like, well, what is the square root of something? And it's like, okay, well, I'll find out. And then he takes some more of the potion. He starts, like, every once in a while taking more sips because Fly is continuously coming up with ways where he's not smart, and he needs the potion to get smarter. And meanwhile, while this is happening, he's starting to get human features.
Yeah.
He's starting to evolve into a human, and that's, like, starting to, like, get into this whole weird area where it's like, okay, humans are from fish now, or is this the potion?
Yeah, and then it's weird because then there's this back and forth, and suddenly he's very human-like.
He's very human-like, and
then suddenly Fly's like,
well, you forgot that humans can't breathe underwater. And the music stops.
It's dead silent, not even sound effects.
And he just, like, chokes, and he falls back. This is really grim.
He drowned.
And I looked to you with this face of pure terror. I
wish I took a camera. I wish I had a picture of it because it was the most brilliant face you've ever made.
Of all the animated deaths that I have seen in, like, Disney movies, I mean, this had to have been the most grim.
Yeah.
Because it is just like, the way it's like portrayed, and there's like absolutely no sound, no music whatsoever, and it just happens.
Yeah.
It's just like you see it in his face.
Because you say like it's like, and what is it that humans can't do underwater? And he goes, they can't breathe.
Yes.
And then it just stops. Not even bubbles come out.
No.
And then he just starts floating back.
He floats back. Then there's like this hint of like.
And then I made a joke that it's like, oh, now I see his junk because he's naked.
Yeah, it's pretty much there.
Yeah.
But
So what? Any bro could do that. But can you tell me what the square root of 6,561 is?
300 divided by 40 minus 3 is... 81.
Yeah, but do you know what happens if an object travels at the speed of light?
It turns into pure energy.
What came first, the chicken or the egg?
It depends on the relative amount of molecules in the universe.
What happens to a fish if he drinks too much antidote?
It becomes human.
Can a human breathe underwater?
Of course not.
But so
that was like,
it was surreal. It was really like, oh my god.
there was like so many grim moments in this movie, and that was just icing on the cake. I was just like, my God, Mike.
Shit.
I just realized my mortality right there.
Yeah, because here's the thing. We came into this movie thinking like this is a kid's movie.
Yes.
And then throughout the movie we're like, this is a kiddie movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then you get moments where you're like, holy shit, that kid
Yeah.
fucking drowned on screen. And you see him just literally lose consciousness right in front of your face.
Yeah.
And so...
Well, that's not... there's an even more grim moment, too, later on. Okay, so basically...
Here we go. Keep going.
So, Fly comes back with the potion, and... and I guess, like, the water at some point needs to get out of the entire... Well,
the humans, the parents and the aunt and the professor.
Yeah, the parents are also there. And before we should say that the aunt finally admits like she was at fault because the entire time she was like blaming the other kids that they're gone and everything. But she finally like admits to the mom.
Will you ever forgive me?
Will you ever forgive me?
Really somber,
pretty
moment.
Yeah,
real,
very real. And there's that moment, and then all of a sudden, it's like she realizes, like, Chuck, I hear Chuck, and then they go into the other room, which is flooded, and they open the door, and the water just like flows.
And right
out.
when the water flows, they take the potion. Chuck gets the potion. Stella gets the potion.
Well, you see only Chuck and Stella take the potion, and Fly is like struggling to get it.
Yeah.
Because like, he's in trouble, he's dying, and you don't exactly see it go into his mouth. You just see like this swirling vortex.
And he gets washed out.
He gets washed out, and Chuck and Stella have, they're humans again. And, and so the parents come in and it's like, oh yeah, Stella, yay, you're back. Oh, my Chuck, yeah. And
where's Fly?
Yeah, where's Fly? Where's Fly?
So Chuck comes running back upstairs because they were flushed out of the boat.
Mm-hmm.
So he runs back into the boat, goes upstairs, and they find him, and he's huddling over.
Yeah, he has like a
dead fish.
There's a dead fish that looks like Fly.
And he's like, "Come on, you can make it.
Come on, you can make it. Don't stop." Look,
and it gets really serious.
It gets really serious. Yeah. It's like, "Come on, you can make another potion, Professor." It's like, "No, I can't."
You're smart. Make a time machine or something. And he's like, "There's nothing I can do."
He's desperate. He's like in the corner. He's about to take a gun and shoot everyone.
Yeah, he's like, and then like even his mom comes over and goes like, "Son, there's nothing you could do.
No, you can't do this.
Yeah, give it.
You have to accept death."
Yeah. And he's like, "No." And then. No. He accidentally drops.
He accidentally drops it, and then it slips out of his hand. And as it falls to the ground, you see the aunt like slips. She slips, and she steps on it, and you hear a crunch. Like, and this was the moment
our stomachs fucking dropped. We were like, "What the fuck? How did they do that?
Holy crap!" We were on the edge of our seats throughout this entire movie.
God.
I was like,
and then like Chuck like blood curdling, like, and we were like, we
Chuck
even
was
did that.
insane. Like Chuck was like going mad about this. He was like, this can't be. This can't happen.
Crunch. No.
And then. And
we were losing. We
went nuts. This movie, like,
we were looking
took
at each
us
other
for a
like
loop.
we were clutching our hearts and like looking at each other like.
This movie really threw us for a loop a lot of times, and I think that's a feat, man. That like really tells you something about this movie. That it's like, okay. At face value, this movie looks like nothing. I mean, it just looks like something that like was just shat out in like a couple months or something and just put the DVD or something.
Just by the cover.
Just by the cover. But when you actually watch it, it's like there's a lot of really great moments in this movie that are very powerful.
The movie is far from perfect, but there are there's things about it that really just sort of like, it's either really beautiful or like, wow, they went there?
Yes, exactly.
Shit.
Yeah, and
dark.
Very, very dark, very real, very like, God, it's gritty.
But after all that, because there's about 30 seconds of just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then suddenly you hear...
Chuck. It's like, fly? And then he comes out of like a tank or something, and
he's got a limp.
He's got a limp, which is really neat because, he got like slashed. So it's like, but it's like his leg. So it's like, what is the part of the leg from the fish where he got slashed? It doesn't make sense. Whatever. But yeah, there is.
And even Chuck is just sort of like, he can't even move. He's just sort of, he's still kind of,
and he kind of wonders
for
like,
a second.
Wait a minute, what the hell happened? Then who did he crush? It turns out that it is a fish that looked like Fly, which was actually
a model.
It was foreshadowed in the beginning of the movie, and I had to point that out to you because you were like, "What the hell is that?
Is that another?
What is there another fish that they just killed?
It's just a regular fish.
No, it was like a model fish that they looked at in the beginning, where Fly says, "Oh, hey, that looks like a cool fish,"
and he says it's called like a fly fish.
A fly fish, yeah. I think that's what it was. Fish. It was something to basically mention the fact that
at that moment, everything's great.
Yeah, everything. There was a very heartwarming moment. And we go to the beach.
Oh, but there's a moment before they go through the pipe. Yeah. Earlier, where
that's right.
You have
Stella Stella had her moment with Sasha.
The seahorse.
The seahorse, where it was like, no, I can't keep you. No, go, boy. Get out of here, girl.
I don't love
Get
you
out of
anymore.
her, girl. I don't love you.
One of those moments.
Right.
So she
basically has to tell Sasha to leave because she can't take her with them. And it's like, it's an all right moment. I think it went on a little bit too long.
Yeah, a little long.
At the same time, it's like, I think they're trying to
there wasn't enough of
make it emotional.
There definitely wasn't enough of like Sasha Stella moments in the movie. There were a few, but
there were a few, but
then they had to break up, and then at the end of the movie, everyone's on the beach and they're having
Sasha
a really great time.
Sasha's moments were kind of, it was mostly like, oh, she's the cute kid that's very curious and likes to explore and everything, and I mean, she's an all right character.
Yeah,
I just think that whole moment with Sasha at the end was kind of like
just a little too long. It didn't need to be that long.
Yeah, I think it was like I think it could have been well off if Sasha was just left behind, and then at the end it's like, oh, I'll never see Sasha ever again.
Yeah. But you have a nice moment where Stella looks out at the sea and she's like, come on, Stella, play. I don't feel like it right now.
Yeah. Well, we have like this is the final moment where we're on the beach and everyone's like, the family as a whole, happy family.
Yeah, a little celebration.
Yeah, and the aunt is all cool with everyone now, and Chuck is now not afraid to do stuff, and he's like climbing stuff, and what was the moment? There was a moment where Fly is like looking through his computer, and he's like, I'm trying to put some games in here. I was like, just put that quantum mechanics stuff away. I never used it anyway. I mean, it's
he gives him pretty much the computer.
Yeah.
And then he starts having fun.
Oh, and he has like a cast on too. So
Fly has a cast on, so he can't do anything.
I don't think Chuck really learned how to swim. I mean, like, he swims throughout the entire movie as a jellyfish, but I think
he was just too scared to swim. and then now he's more confident. So you just
maybe, but even at the end, it's like he just skips through the water. He doesn't really swim on it.
Yeah, but either way, I mean, he's now more adventurous. So
yeah. And the professor is also like a friend of the family now, and he's like they're like sliding down through these pipes that they made into slides.
Water slides and stuff.
And we see Stella like at the edge of the corner. She has like a little sand castle, and she's very sad. And it's like, what's wrong with Stella? And she's sad that Sasha isn't around. And then we see like Sasha come up and like Sasha, and she puts him in like a little glass. And it's like it's kind of cute moment. It's
yeah. And then I'm like even like
oh my
in
God.
my head I'm like, oh, what are they gonna do? Are they gonna turn her into a real horse? And then you see a moment where the professor and Chuck look at each other, and it's like, we can do some DNA.
Yeah, let's try it.
And then and then I even said it right before it happened. Stella gets a pony. She gets a pony, and lo and
Stella
behold,
gets a pony.
They give Sasha the potion, and she becomes a horse.
Like it looks like Sasha, but it's like
a horse. It's
a
a land
horse.
horse.
It's like a land sea horse. And she's riding around in this horse, and everyone's happy, and then the credits roll, and we're just like, we were laughing
Everybody
our
gets
asses
a pony.
off about that.
You get a pony.
You get a pony.
You get a pony. It's like, we're going to give a little... This is the only movie where a little girl asks for a pony, and she's actually given a fucking pony. And then the parents are like, shit, where are we going to put this fucking pony?
I was like,
how much it costs to raise a pony? I mean, hay is expensive enough to get. What about kelp?
What do you feed a fish horse?
Now, and it was so weird.
It was weird, but it was like it was a
funny.
good ending.
Yeah,
it was really cute.
None of us expected it.
Yeah,
but I mean, we were laughing just like Stella gets a pony. That's the end of the movie. She gets a pony. Everybody wins.
Yeah. And
we watched a guy drown on screen, and Stella gets a pony. Yeah. And we literally had the death moment of have our cake between it was the trifecta of watching the villain drown on screen after being mutated into a human underwater,
almost seeing Fly
getting crushed,
death.
having the
and slashed like
slashed and crushed,
like cut,
having your cake and eating it too. And then at the end, everything comes around. Stella gets a fucking pony.
Yeah. And
we were like, wow, that is the last 20 minutes of this movie are the most incredible ride of emotions. You're literally... I have never watched a movie, like even watching Toy Story 3 where they go into the incinerator, I'm like, they're going to make it.
They're going to make it, yeah.
Holy shit.
I mean, but it's that moment where it's like you have that moment before they're going in. It's like that's the emotion right there.
Yeah.
This one, it's just like, bam! Holy crap! Emotions just run through this like mad. I really enjoyed this movie.
Yeah.
Throughout the entire time, I was like conflicted.
At the beginning, I'm just sort of like, this is kind of just like standard kids movie.
Right.
Then as you go on, and then you get to the end of the movie, and you look back on it, and you're like, shit, man. What is
that?
This
Is
thing?
deep.
So
that is really deep.
This was a real. This
movie
is
stuff that I really haven't seen.
This movie was a really pleasant surprise.
It was. I was like, really happy.
Like there are moments where you're like, yeah, whatever, okay. But then there's moments where you're like, that's fucking deep.
Yep.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like even, and I don't mean to curse so much, but when I get really like my emotions get wild up.
Yeah.
My New Yorker comes out. I mean, even me, like you heard me go like, holy goddamn, I'm fat. And it was nuts, and I really enjoyed the movie.
Yeah,
and the movie's only like an hour and
like 83 minutes.
It's like an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah,
it's like 6 minutes of credits at the end.
Yeah,
so it's really not that long of a movie.
Yeah, things go by pretty quickly.
It moves at a steady pace.
But I was happily surprised with a lot of stuff that happened in this movie, and I'm really glad folks have brought this to our attention, because this is a movie we haven't seen.
So thank you. What was there? What was their name?
Yes. I'll read off names again in a minute, and I also want to read some letters that we got.
I really don't think there's
Gemma
anything else.
Bright, and I remember another person who suggested AMW. Actually, AMW 2808, I believe, on Twitter. It was funny because it was just bypassing this mentioning of this movie. It's like, don't watch this movie, actually. And it's like, Why wouldn't you want me to watch this movie?
Now I'm curious.
Now I'm curious. Yeah, don't tell me to not watch a movie.
And also, as of right now, like I really don't think there's anything else we could say about this movie.
No, it was really good.
Watch it.
Okay, well,
check it out for
all
yourself.
right. Let's go through the thing. The story was pretty decent. I mean, for what it was, it
for about
was
a bunch of kids turning into fish.
Yeah.
Even though technically only one turns into a fish.
It could have been right. One's a jellyfish, one's a starfish, one's an actual fish. But yeah, the story was pretty decent. I mean, it could have been done better.
Yeah.
I mean, there's moments in there where it's like things aren't really clear, and there's moments where it's like, this couldn't really be there for.
And as far as the cast goes, besides Chuck, I think the cast is pretty solid.
Yeah, I
really
liked
solid
it.
cast.
Yeah, I mean there was no one was really annoying.
The little girl was precious.
Yeah, the girl was fine.
Sounded really cute.
You know, usually when you hear like a child actor in an animated movie, it's kind of like, that's
either they're very, very, very mature and they're playing down, or there's someone who you can tell that they're just reading whatever the director told them to say back,
and Stella was
parroting.
And Stella was definitely like one of those characters where it's like she wasn't acting mature, but you could really tell she was a child, but not like obnoxious child. Like, it's just
she was a nice change of pace.
and just trying to do everything like, I was so precious, and there are moments like that actually where it's like she'll say a word wrong or something. I can't remember the exact line, but she basically says something
about an argument. Like, are you guys having?
You guys having
they were supposed to say discussion, but I think she said digestion.
Are you guys having a disgusting? Yeah, it's like disgusting. So
which is cute, which wasn't but I wasn't like, oh God, kill her.
Yeah,
because there's moments where you listen to it, it's like, oh God, shut
and Chuck was all right, but I mean, there were moments where it's just like that line could have been really better.
That was the take you used.
Yeah,
one of those
part time. I just wanted to talk about that Red Letter Media review about Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull.
What?
There is that line that Indiana Jones says. Yeah. It's like, you're really an archaeologist? And he says like, part-time.
Well, I was
in a trailer, he actually says like, part-time. And
like a better
a better line, and it's like, and that was the one. The part-time was the one that they went with in the movie. That's what I kind of felt with the Chuck.
With most of the movie,
Chuck. Yeah,
but
I happily enjoyed it. The animation was really well done,
very solid.
There were moments where it's like they used CG for a lot of the fish, and it's like you could tell, but I mean, honestly, it was necessary. The octopus was awesome. I love the look of the octopus, even though it was like really
You only see him for like a split second.
Yeah, but it still looked great. There are moments where it's like I think the shark and Alan Rickman fish were at CG at first because they're supposed to be the dead-eyed fish, at first, and then they transform into this 2D more like fluid animation character, and really, it's like it was very well done throughout. There was only one moment where I thought it could have been animated a little bit better, and that's when they were hitting the Alan Rickman fish or something. There was like a moment where it's like it didn't really feel like the impact was really
hitting him.
But outside of that, I mean, 95% of the rest of the movie, I thought it was really great.
Really good stuff.
Yeah. The music wasn't really that memorable. I mean, it fits to
the songs weren't memorable.
No, even though that first song was supposed to be memorable because
the kids call back to it
later. But at the same time, it's like they're songs, they're fine. I mean, they were actually pretty well done. They weren't like dumb. They actually had some good lyrics to them. And the villain fish song was great. I mean,
I barely understood what he said.
No, I didn't understand most of it, but it was a really nice feel, very jumpy, very like colorful, and I just hearing Alan Rickman sing as a fish was just, I don't know, that was really great to me. It's just the idea of that.
Yeah, but overall, decent movie.
Decent movie. I really need to thank people for suggesting this movie.
So.
Yeah, and so what we're going to do is the next movie we're going to see next week is going to be
a movie we're gonna
something
choose.
that we will choose. And then we're going to go again with listener choice the following week. So we're probably going to go back and forth with that. Yeah, we'll alternate to that. So any suggestions that people come in, they can write to us, they can email us, they can go to Twitter and tweet us. I am going to announce right now that we have a Facebook page.
Woo!
Yes, we have a official Facebook page, and that is at Animated Anarchy Cast. So if you go to facebook.com/Animated Anarchy Cast, please come and join our Facebook family and and you can post, and you can also just like an email, you can just send us messages and we'll read them.
Right. And the great thing about Facebook too is that if you want to talk about your feelings about the movie or about the show, you're not just limited to 140 characters.
Yes.
So which is nice.
Also, it's an easy way to get updates from us.
Yeah, because we'll update it with every.
Yeah, and we'll post things together once in a while, whenever the podcast comes up, or even if we have little messages of what's going to happen, and maybe even some animation news if we think it's fun. I posted the Cyril Sneer a while ago and wanted to ask people's opinions about the raccoons. So if more people would come by to the Facebook page, remember that's Animated Anarchy Cast. Like us, and you'll get information and news from us whenever we are available.
Yeah.
And speaking of letters, let's get some. Let me read some letters from some listeners here.
Sounds good.
Okay, this is from Alex Hamilton, and he says...
Hi, Alex.
Hey, Alex. Hello, Andrew and Mike. I would like to suggest that you and Mike take a look at the 1973 2D animated film Charlotte's Web. I know it's kind of obscure nowadays, and I'm not too sure about the availability of it. I'm sure we could find it somewhere.
I have a copy.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But I remember watching it at a young age and enjoying it, even almost crying near the end. I'd love to hear what you guys think of it, and if nothing else, I hope you guys touch on it in a future episode. Well, I think that's a good
I grew up with Charlotte's Web also.
Yeah,
so for me, it would be a nice film to talk about.
Yeah, Charlotte's Web is a really...
it's probably the most memorable Hanna-Barbera film.
That's right. Yeah.
It was their second movie.
Yeah, because they haven't really done a whole lot of stuff based on novels.
Well, they did because they did
Ricky Tikki. No, wait.
No, that was Chuck Jones.
That was Chuck Jones.
But they did
right.
they did the Yogi Bear movie, and they did A Man Called Flintstone.
But
then they did Heidi's Song.
That's right.
And Charlotte's Web, which were based off books.
Okay. Yeah. And here's another one from Flafty Surname.
Flafty.
Flafty Surname. I'm
Flafty.
sorry. I'm Flafty the clown.
Hey, I'm Flafty. Sorry, Flafty.
Yes, we're very sorry.
You know what? It's funny because
this is probably not his real name, but
but I just like the name.
Yes. I don't have too many animated films in my collection that I think are worth talking about. One I think is worth discussing is the animated adaptation of The Phantom Tollbooth. The original book was written by Norton Juster in 1961, which I highly recommend if you haven't read. Warner Brothers adapted it to an animated film with Chuck Jones acting as director and creator of the screenplay, and Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer released it in 1970. Oh, that's interesting. So it was a Warner Brothers production?
Yeah, it was a
Okay. Another film would be The Secret of Kells, created by Cartoon Saloon, and we discussed that earlier, actually. Created by Cartoon Saloon and released in 2009. I know less about this film itself, but I adore the story and art style. And it's these are possibilities that we can probably
definitely with Phantom Tollbooth, because it's a people do remember it, but very faintly.
Yeah,
they might have seen it on maybe what was it, Cartoon Network's Cartoon Theater way back in the day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Phantom Tollbooth is another one that I remember just because it was on Cartoon Network a whole lot of times, and I like it.
Yeah, we should talk. We'll probably consider that one.
We'll discuss it. Yeah. Here's one from Mia. Hey, I love your guys' show podcast a lot. I find it particularly interesting considering I'm an animation major.
Woo!
Anyway, Yay, animation majors! Anyway, I was wondering if you would take requests to talk about some animated films, including anime ones. I was wondering if you guys would talk about, or even remember, Kimba, which was an anime movie about a white lion. I saw it before in my childhood, and it's been a while, but I'd be interested in hearing people talk about it. Or if you guys aren't up to that particular movie, can I request you guys review Alpha and Omega? It's hilariously bad in my opinion. Anyway, keep up the great work, guys. And if you're not for suggestions, just disregard this email entirely. No, I actually, don't put yourself down. Like I love suggestions and stuff like that.
Like I saw like what was it? The more recent adaptation movie of Kimba. I saw it in college.
Was there one?
There was one in the 2000s.
I only know that this is by Osamu Tezuka.
Because he did the show, and I think they did a movie back early on.
Yeah.
Then they did a remake or like something.
Yeah.
Like they did Persepolis.
Mm-hmm.
Not Persepolis, I'm sorry. Metropolis.
Metropolis, yes.
Sorry.
No, I love Metropolis. I actually think would be a great one to discuss.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've
Kimba, if there's a movie about that,
there is a Kimba movie, but there's also the TV show, which I've never seen.
There's a ton of anime that I know that I would love to talk about.
Because I know nothing about anime.
Yeah, but there's like a lot of movies, like Metropolis for one is like a great one to talk about. And there's some others that could probably be suggested to us, and I wouldn't mind watching them.
Right, and now with... I've never seen it, but we actually, I think, threw it back and forth once, Alpha and Omega. I think that's something we'll have to watch.
Yeah, that's okay. Okay, well, we'll think about that one.
You really don't want to watch that one, do you?
Well, someone also suggested Delgo, but I'm like thinking to myself, like, I kind of want to wait for that one because I don't think I'm quite.
You need to be mentally and physically prepared for it.
Yes, exactly. Okay, and here's a last letter from us, and I think this will be like our last question for today. And this is from Scott Smith. Would you and Michael ever consider doing an episode about why you got into animation, how you discovered your passion, what you did to prepare you for the industry, and your first jobs leading up to where you are today? I think that would be really interesting to hear. So
yeah, I would love to talk about that.
In fact, actually, we should make that a mini episode, like a mini cast.
Like a 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah, because like I do like to talk about how I got into animation and, just in general, and that's a larger discussion in the long run.
Yeah.
So we'll get into that when we can. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was our podcast for Help. Help! Exclamation point. I'm a fish.
Because I think it's Help and then just I'm a fish. There's no exclamation
or
point.
Or a fish story if you want to. I like Help, I'm a Fish a lot better.
It's a more interesting title.
Yeah. So, yes, I really enjoyed it.
I liked it too.
Yeah, I really, if you can find this, I highly suggest that you should watch it for yourself and just kind of like get your own opinion of it, because it's not perfect in any regard, but really well done. And it had a lot of surprises to it. Which I was like,
surprised.
Geez.
Which is it's fun when you watch a movie going in expecting something not so great, and then your expectations are either met or surpassed.
Right, exactly.
And you're like, whoa, that was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, that's a problem with me. It's like I have expectations, and you probably shouldn't have expectations when you're looking into something new. Yeah, and so I was happily surprised that my first expectations of this being bad were met with like, oh wow, this is really great. Yeah, I liked it. So
it looks good.
Yeah,
awesome.
So yes, please follow us, like us on Facebook at Animated Anarchy Cast. You can also follow us on iTunes and Stitcher if you would look up Animated Anarchy there.
Give us good ratings.
Yes, please give us a positive review. Please. This really would help the podcast a lot, because the more people talk about it and the more positive reviews, the more it will show up in random searches, and it would greatly help us spread the word about the podcast in general, because we need more listeners. We would like to have people say like, hey, this was a great suggestion. This was a great podcast to listen to. I really like animation, because I get like a lot of messages where people say it's like, I was really surprised of hearing you guys because this was suggested to me, and I think that's awesome. I think that's great. And you can also talk about us on Twitter. I mean, if you can, just link to us, hashtag Animated Anarchy for us when you discuss us, and just help spread the word a little bit about this podcast.
Just say hi to us too.
Yes,
we're on that too.
Yeah. Also, if you want to say hi to us, I am at AWD Twit, and Mike.
I'm at a guy who draws.
Yes, and you can contact us there. You can also contact us on Facebook, and you can also email me at awd300@gmail.com. And please feel free to suggest us to as many people as you can, because who knows, someone out there is interested in listening to us talk about movies of the animated variety.
Yes. You got very fancy at the end of that.
Yes,
variety.
I did. The variety. Yeah, so thank you so much. This has been another Animated Anarchy cast. Next week we will we haven't really decided
on a movie.
No, we're not gonna, well, we will probably talk about that later on, but be sure to also listen to some of our mini casts in the next coming week before we discuss the next movie. And we'll just have lots of fun. So, thank you so much for listening to Animated Anarchy. I am Andrew Dickman.
And I'm Mike Ruocco.
We will see you next time.
See you around, guys.
All right, here we go. And,
sorry.
Wow, you're way too good at that.
Well, it's just flapping your lips. It's literally just
flapping your gums.
Going,
yeah. All right.
Hold on.
Okay, so we already got like intros and
Hold
stuff
on,
like that.
1 second.
Oh, Jesus.
Did the mic pick that up?
Yes. I heard that. It was like
I have to do it like every 2 hours.
What?
Because it hurts otherwise. I actually do.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I'll do it and it feels like, do what it feels like.
Maybe are you sure if you do that too much, it'll be like you need to do it or something?
No, I don't think. Do you know what? Do you know? It's funny. If do it, yeah, Blash.
I sneezed at a cat.
You fucking. You sneezed on a cat.
It really did look like he shot out of my nose. Are you all right? There's water right there, buddy.
Turn into Corey.
Yeah.
Oh, guys!
Oh, man.
All
right.
Way to have this thing come to a roaring stop.
All right.
Oh, God.
I already forgot the name of this movie.
Help, I'm a fish.
Help, I'm a fish.
I'm drowning. Help,
Help, I'm drowning.
Help.
All right.
Fly. Sorry. I'm so sorry.
Fly.
Horsewhip.
Horsewhip. Fly.
Fly bee.
There's gonna be like a moment from each and every movie.
Can we make like a supercut like after 100th episode where it's just like, hello bee, horsewhip, fly. Morty,
Yeah.
Morty, Rick, Morty.
Rick and Morty.
All right, hold on. Let's.
All right.
But
I finally caught up with that.
I
by the
actually
way,
haven't
season
seen
2.
anything from season 2.
Oh
yet.
my God, you're.
I'm too busy watching the fucking raccoons. Damn it, because of you. I'm hooked on it. I'm hooked on fucking pink aardvarks and bent nose raccoons.
I can't even do that.
No, that voice sounds like it fucking hurts.
I know.
Cedric, my son.
But Dad.
Hi,
Hi, J-Pop.
Pop.
Hey, Pop. Pop my peas.
Smart enough.
Okay, boss. All right.
We're never gonna get this.
No,
thing started.
okay. We gotta start.
Oh God.
Why are we in such giggle fits right now?
No, it's because you sneezed on a fucking cat, and it started from there.
Okay.
Oh, all right. Hold on.
Alrighty.
Oh, it sucks because now I'm fucking sweating balls here. I'm laughing.
Okay.
All right,
if you need me to bring you a towel, I will. Okay.
No, I'm just.
Are you sure? Do you need?
I'll wipe on your NES pillows.
I'm serious. Do you want me to bring a towel?
No, I'm
okay.
fine. I'm actually
all right.
fine.
Do you need a towel?
I do need one.
All right. Calm down.
right.
Get your composure. I'm gonna do my intro now.
Okay. This is the first time.
All right.
You don't understand how much this makes me happy.
I'm good. Okay, good.
I don't even know why I'm laughing anymore.
Oh.
You know what? There's a point where I'm trying to be serious, and a part of me is just like, laugh now.
Laugh, clown, laugh.
Laugh. And you just hear, like, inside your head, you just, like, it's just very dark and just very silent, and then you just hear, like, in the back of your head.
You're right.
Oh, yeah, okay.
All right. Hello and welcome to Animated Anarchy, where we take a critical look at animated features of all kinds to determine whether they're good or bad. Thank you so much, Mike.
I'm sorry. I was totally in the zone.
I did it really well.
I was in the zone.
All right.
And then I thought of something funny, and it set me off.
It certainly did set you off.
Oh, God.
Oh,
Please,
man. Yes. Anyway, should I try? No, we should just keep going.
Try
All right,
again.
let's try.
Okay.
Sure, one more time.
Fit. Okay.
I'm fit. I swear to God, Mike. This is all going in.
You want to leave the room, and then when you're done doing your intro, come back in? No,
No, you're fine. All right.
Okay.